veteran veterans, and I'm super excited because we've got Brian down here, and you just moved down to Georgia, correct?
Right.
And you're with the Football Fantasy Alliance. Did I say it right?
Fantasy Sports Alliance.
There it is. There it is. For some reason, I always screw that up. So, anyways, Brian, I'm super excited to have you, man. We've been doing a lot of talks lately with everything. I know you've had a lot going on, but we're obviously here to talk about you with what you're doing. And so, yeah, go ahead and it's all yours, brother.
All right, so let's see. Justin and I have been talking for a while. This is actually the first time I think we've actually ever been on video together with each other. But Fantasy Sports Alliance, we've been around since 1993. It was something I started as a freshman in college. First couple seasons didn't quite make it all the way to the end. For those of you that know what English 101 and English 102 is, you understand why that doesn't happen all the way through. But first successful season in 1995. And then other than deploying years, we've been consistent ever since then. This last season was our 25th year of operation. Wearing the 25th anniversary FSA hat right now. And we ended up with 56 members last year. And this upcoming season, the hope is 80 members, sitting right now with 63, working on 64 verbal commitments. And the basis behind FSA is we're stretched all over the globe. We're not in any one particular region. We are heavy in other spots, but we have members in West Canada, Europe. We've got sponsorship out of Japan. We're just all over the country. And I think the biggest thing is right now is just trying to continue growing this thing, very much like you are doing with VRV. Just trying to find us a couple more members and a couple more sponsors.
Yeah, that's sweet. So what's your big standout compared to the other ones that are on there? Like, what are people's incentive to get in with you guys? I know you got some cool designs and everything you're going on, but
I think what really sets us apart is the number of people that we have playing all at the same time. It's one thing for you to play against the same 12 people every year, and you might dominate those 12 people. But the way we play our league is, we've grown from 24 to 32 to 40 to 64, 58, now 80 people. And it's just the style and the way we play. We took a little over a year of calculating data to figure out how to break the globe essentially now up into these different regions. And what we do is you play in the region where you live. So what that allows for us to do is it gives us small pockets of people throughout the globe that are close in relation to each other geographically wise. That gives us things to do in the future, like we want to have preseason events where we can all get together and do the draft all together, or we can do in-season events, social events, or we can do end of the season banquets with each other. And a lot of people say to us, well, from a competition standpoint, you have 80 people that are going to play. What does that look like from a competition standpoint? Doesn't that really thin out the talent that you have in FSA? Well, what happens is each one of those regions drafts from an entire pool of NFL players. And then the next question is, well, don't the two teams that come to the championship at the end have a lot of the same players? And there's so many variables in it, it hardly ever happens. Like this past year, our two teams that came down to the championship had two of the same players on a 16-player roster, one that sat on the bench for both of them, and as a 10-player start, so they only had one player that was a push for each other. So it really depends on the skill of the player that's there as far as the general manager, the way that they draft, the way they work the waiver wire, all of those different factors, just catching a player hot, catching them at the right time, all of these different factors go into it. Last year was the second time we ever had two players reach on the rosters of the two teams that went to the end. And same thing as that years ago, only one player was the same on both teams. That was a push for the final. So it's a lot of fun. You mentioned the logos. We in that years of research, or a year of research of trying to build these regions, I had a thought one time in one of my greatest places that I have my thinking is in the shower. So I'm in the shower one day and I have this great thought. We have Walter as our main logo for the FSA, Walter the Wizard, and the Wizard's been our logo forever. And I thought, well, a lot of people say that fantasy football is the Dungeons and Dragons for jocks. And here we already have had this wizard for our logo for a really long time. And I started thinking, well, why don't we mascot our regions based on mythology? You know, you being a military guy, you know as well that your units always have names. You always have some kind of mascot that goes along with you. You have some kind of motto that goes along with that. So I started thinking along those same realms and doing a lot of research inside those regions. I was able to come up with some mythological creatures that in some way, shape, or form work into that region. And that's where the logos came from. Had an awesome graphic artist named Chris Smith out of Pennsylvania, one of the places that you're very favorable with. And he did all of these logos for me, and he still has one or two for me to go. We still got to get one for the Asian region and one for the Europe region here very soon.
Right on, right on. That's awesome. Now I know you had jumped in. You were trying to get a Rocky Mountain Conference going on, or
Yeah, right where you're from. We're a little thin in the Rocky Mountain region. That's our Bighorns division. We didn't want to just call it the Rams because we thought that was kind of a little lame. So we decided to call it the Bighorns. We had two members from there a couple of years ago. Actually, the founder of Pigskin Addiction, another Chris Hadlock, and his wife, Luann, played with us. We haven't had them back in the last season or so. So we kind of lost that momentum that we had there for a little bit. But you being there in the Colorado region, definitely hoping to build that region up. I think Cheryl is my business partner. I can't go through this whole show without mentioning Cheryl Storm, my business partner. She'd be mad at me if I didn't. But Cheryl, we've been thinking about for years, how are we going to get more members? Like, what is our backbone to be able to get them if we have a region like the Rocky Mountain region where we don't have a lot of members? And we thought, hey, we could go to college campus and put flyers on boards. We can go to sports bars in that area or whatever. And then with us getting ready to come do the event with you guys up in North Carolina, mine and Cheryl's thought at that point was wherever Justin's going to be, that's where we're going to go as well. So next year when we know, hey, we need to get people in the Colorado Rocky Mountain region, when's Justin having his next event? We're going to jump on a plane. She's in Florida, I'm in Georgia, and come out there and have an event with you all and see what we can do about growing it. That's the mindset right now, is jumping and going where
that's heck yeah, brother. That's awesome. That's way awesome. So are you looking like Colorado, Utah? What states are you looking like? Idaho, is that involved? Are you going by states here, or how are you throwing it out?
Yeah, the regions are broken up. A lot of states. I think the biggest map that I ended up looking at to build these regions where it was at. Facebook for a couple of years did a survey kind of online in their database that said, which NFL teams do our Facebook members support? And what they did was they went out and just saw what do they follow on their Facebook page. And then they broke that down by county throughout the entire United States. And whoever the team was that was the most supported, they put them on the map and said, this is the team that's most supported. I think when it came to the Rocky Mountain region, of course, you guys got the Denver Broncos there. So wherever that fan base was for the Denver Broncos, and I don't have my map up here on the wall. You know, we moved from Texas to Georgia recently. We haven't got the FSA studio completely set up. And I don't know if I can look at the computer real quick without you losing me to be able to tell you, we might as well try it. I mean,
go for it. Yeah, go for it.
So the regions that count in the Rocky Mountain, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. So
okay. Right on.
Region, yeah.
Awesome, dude. That's way cool. Man, I was just gonna ask you one other thing real quick. But no, that's cool. So any members, anybody down here or know of anybody across that might be listening to this, plug in your friends and get them headed over. So what all entails with the how do you do it? Do you got dues? Do you got fees? What's going on for somebody to join in?
So this is the first year that we're actually doing it where it's going to be a payback out league. The way we had done it previously, it's membership to base. It still is. That's still what we're going to call it. Membership to base, you would pay at the beginning of the year. We would give you out a goodie bag at the beginning of the year. Last year was the 25th anniversary FSA hat. And then you were only playing for trophies at the end. And we listened to our members, and our members said, you know what? You know where you're missing your base is if you could do a pay out league, you would probably bring in more membership. So still membership. The membership is $50 to get in. We are shifting gears because we moved away from the original website that we had in the last 2 years to move over to something from a competition standpoint is way better for the league. So we moved off of doing it on Yahoo to something called My Fantasy League, which is much better from a commissioner standpoint. with that, we lost the ability to be able to take membership fees on our website. So this year we are doing it through PayPal, but we do have the PayPal business side of the house. So we will be invoicing our members. We have, like I said, the 63 verbal commitments for the year, hopefully 64 by the end of the night. And we will send them an invoice. And with that, you don't have to have a PayPal account, because I know a lot of people are weary about that. So with a business side of the PayPal, you can pay with a credit card or a debit card. And then there will be a payout at the end of the year. If you go to the website, and I'll mention it now, the website is FSA-FR.com. It's Fantasy Sports Alliance Fanatically Real. That's what the FR is for. So FSA-FR.com. So if you go there and you click on the rules button, it will explain all of the rules for the year. It'll show the payout structure. The payout structure that you're going to see there is based on if we get our 80 members for the year. We are going to pay back 8 places this year. With the winner, if we get our 80 people, $800. So it's $50 to get in, $800 out for the winner. It's broken down based on that. The cool thing about our league is we do what we call a Pro Bowl at the end of the year. Our Pro Bowl in week 17 of the NFL has a lot of the actual NFL Pro Bowl elements mixed into it, old and new, the way they used to do it. We call it the All-Team Bowl. Go to the rules page and read it and understand why. But what that does is that truly crowns a third place team for us, because it's the third and the fourth place team that plays in that. Little bit of extra money that goes along with that. And it's something super exciting this year. Not only are we doing it for money for the first time ever, is another one of my great ideas that I had when I was in a shower. We decided to do bowl games this year, very much like the NCAA does. And the idea was, hey, let's reach out to some sponsors and see if we can get some mutual sponsorship going on with a few people. And because of you, I've been able to reach out to 2 different vendors that have come on board that are going to be bowl sponsors for us this year. And
sweet.
We got regions that will play against each other that are already preset. Those same 2 regions will play against each other every single year. We're calling it our Rivalry Bowl series. And sponsors are going to give away gifts to whoever wins those bowls. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the same teams every year, but like one of our bowls that we have right now is our Great Lakes region. We'll always play our Pac South region every single year. And then aside from the Rivalry Bowl region, we're going to do something a little similar to what NCAA does as well. We're going to do our Invitational Bowl games. Invitational Bowl games are replacing our Invitational tournament that we used to do. And basically you have to finish above 500. So for this year, with our schedule, if you finish 7 and 6 or above, you're already not included in the Rivalry Bowl games and not already included in the national tournament. You're eligible for an Invitational Bowl game. And then we'll put a committee together that says this team is going to play this team. We'll make sure it's not a team that you would normally play in the regular season. And we want to make sure that when we pit you against this other team, that it'll be really close competition. It won't be like a number 1 seed versus a 16. It'll be more like a 7 versus an 8 kind of thing.
Dude, that's sweet. So and for everybody out there, you're still on active duty.
I am active duty.
You're finding all the time to do all this while still wearing the uniform. Like, holy cow, I can't even, when we and Brian still, when we first met, he was asking me, if I do play fantasy, and I used to back in the day, but man, I was like, I don't have the time. And then you're going into, from a commissioner standpoint, holy crap, brother. You're going to town.
I was fortunate enough 2 assignments ago. I had a little over 2 years where my job wasn't that difficult. We'll just put it that way. I had a nice little cushy job there for a little bit. Wasn't like being a first sergeant like I was in my last job, which we were still making it happen even as a first sergeant, but there wasn't a lot of sleep during those days. But my business partner, Cheryl, who I mentioned before, she keeps me on track with everything. We have weekly meetings. And if it wasn't for us keeping a really strict timeline on whenever we do those things, we wouldn't be anywhere where we're at right now. I think our weekly meetings that we have, our show on Wednesday nights, which, hey, I got to mention that right now too. So we do a broadcast every Wednesday night. In fact, we just had one last night. Once the season kicks off for us on the 1st of March, we kind of do them every other week until just before the NFL draft, which happens next Thursday. So we will do a show next Wednesday, and then we're weekly from now all the way until the Wednesday after the Super Bowl. Wow. So Wednesday nights, 8:30 East Coast time on Facebook Live. We're there.
Facebook Live. Okay.
Facebook Live. Yeah, we did our fourth show last night. Those shows stay on Facebook. So if anybody wants to get caught up on it, usually on there for about 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes. What we really do is we talk about FSA, the league itself, and what's going on with it. It used to be we talked a lot about the NFL, and I started thinking the members really aren't getting a bang for their buck if we're talking about the NFL. So I said, hey, let's focus it back on why we're here. So it's been really good.
Oh, that's cool, man. I love all that stuff you're throwing in there. I need to find time now. I will find time because that's awesome.
Board, man. If you're playing, I just know that the region over there is just going to blow up if you're on board, man. I just know it will.
Yeah. But obviously we've got, we're reaching new people every day. And so, yeah, we just got to get that word out there, man, and get it going. So that's awesome, man. I absolutely love it. And how you're doing the active duty thing with all this, man, that's a lot. So how would you do it when you would deploy? Would you just kind of put everything on pause, or was it kind of self-sustaining?
We still did a fantasy football, but we didn't really connect it to FSA. I usually just did it with guys that are on the fob of wherever.
Oh, okay.
It did take a little bit of a pause. What was good back then, though, is, we were still small, 12, 24 teams or whatever. It was, I wouldn't say it was easy, but it wasn't so hard to get 12 or 24 teams. I know there are a lot of guys that go out there and they advertise on like League Safe and stuff like that and say, hey, we have a 10-team league and we're still looking for 2 more guys. Some of these guys really struggle, but what's really helped me has been the military. Every time I move at PCS, I take these pockets of people and I get them. So the last time I was here in Georgia, because this is my second time here as permanent party, I built a nice base here. And then we PCS to Hawaii. And then I built up a really nice base in Hawaii. And then we moved to Texas. Once again, got another really nice base. Now I'm back here in Georgia. Ohio was home when we first started. So we've always had a great following in Ohio. We have a great following in the Hawaii area, Texas area, and Georgia area. Those are our 4 biggest areas in the country. We have picked up some regional managers, kind of like what you have whenever you have your pockets around the country too. You have a guy that's running that section for you. We've done the same thing as well. So we have guys in the New England region for us, exactly where you think it would be. Kentucky, Ohio. Our one regional manager that we had in Hawaii has now moved to California, but still the same region because Hawaii and California are a region together. And then I'm here in Georgia now. Wherever I'm at, I kind of am the acting regional manager there as well. I didn't really put anybody back in Texas, but as far as membership for verbal commitments already for the year, Texas is already taken care of. We have more in Texas than what we actually needed for the year, so we're gonna have to disperse them into some other areas this year.
All right. Yeah. So do you have anybody set for, what did you say, the Bighorn division yet? Your mountain region?
In the what region?
Do you have the mountain region yet? Do you have anybody out here?
No, actually, Chris was going to be the guy that was going to be there, and I don't know what happened. I think he decided he was going to sell Pigskin Addiction, and I don't know if that sale ever went through or not. And I think when that happened, he kind of fell off the fantasy football radar there for a little bit. So I had nobody there right now. So if anybody's listening and you're in the Colorado region and would love to be a regional manager in Colorado area, let me know, man. It would be great.
No, I actually think I might have somebody that might be really interested in that for you. So I'll get back. I'll sideline you on that one, but yeah, I think I got somebody lined up for you. Okay. So yeah, that's awesome, dude. Well, I love it. I think that's great, and I was so excited when you were telling me you were coming down to our event in North Carolina. Dude, that's unbelievable. So I appreciate it. I look forward to
Let me tell what else we're doing for you. We're actually supposed to be at the draft next Thursday. So we went to the draft in Dallas last year because that happened to be close to me. And Cheryl and I got thinking about it. The draft is in Nashville this year, still not a far distance away. But for us, that's a social event. As nice as it is, we want to grow FSA. So we're going to forgo the expenses to get ourselves to Nashville. We're going to spend the money. We're going up to North Carolina and we're going to go see Justin and we're going to go up there for the VRV event. To us, that means way more than watching the NFL draft.
Dude, that's crazy, man. I gotta get this sucker big and rolling then. Bring some bang for your buck. So yeah, dude, that's awesome. And to hear you saying that after us just starting with you wanting to come down and instead of going down to the draft is insane. So no, we're gonna knock it out of the park, man. Have you down there, get in front of some other, all these people supporting you, and who knows, we'll be getting some people. Well, especially they got the outside of Fort Bragg, they've got, I forgot the name of it, kind of like a Freedom Fest down there for that entire week. So there's going to be a huge crowds down there.
I didn't even think about that until I looked at the calendar the other day. It's Memorial Day weekend. Another good thing is I got old soldiers that I served with in Hawaii that are now at Bragg. They're coming out to see over there, and a couple of them play with us too. So that's going to be super awesome.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, that'll be cool, man. And thank you so much for that, because that means a lot. And I'm excited to see the VRV members with what they're doing with their sponsorships with you. I think was the Nature's Coast Tailgating's one of them.
Right? Tailgating is the last one we just picked up. We don't actually have a bowl of which one he's going to sponsor yet. He's down there in Florida because with the way we're growing, we might have to combine a couple of regions before we can get that bowl game. The other three sponsors that we have are already kind of locked in because they're in our bigger areas. But the other sponsor that we picked up is Georgia Rustics Candle Company, which we found.
Oh, good.
As well. Good. So I went over and met Maggie, and we got some product from her to be able to give. So whoever ends up winning the Sun Belt Bowl, which is between the South Atlantic, which is where I'm at right now, and then the Southwest over in Texas area, they're going to get some free awesome stuff from the Georgia Rustic Candle Company. So that's pretty cool.
Dude, that's awesome. That's way cool, man. Well, right on, brother. Well, I'm excited to finally get you on there. We've been pushing this back with some of us have to work around here. But it's nice to finally get you on film, man. And do you got anything else to say, anybody? Anything else?
Hey, if you're
interested, talk today.
If you're interested in playing fantasy football and you want something new and different that you've never done before, you've never experienced in fantasy football, come check us out on the website, www.fsa-fr.com, Fantasy Sports Alliance, fanaticallyreal.com, and just check it out. You can find us on all the social medias. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're on GroupMe as well. If you happen to be one of those people that likes to do GroupMe, we have a GroupMe section. We do a lot of our chatting off season on there. So just come and look us up and just reach out to us directly. Let us know you're interested. We got the database built of everybody that are verbal commitments for the year. And next Thursday, the 25th, when the NFL draft is opening day one, that's when we'll start sending our invoices out. And we'll see from there. The magic number is 80 this year. So that's what we're reaching for.
Well, let's get it. Hey, real quick before we go, do you have a store where people can go and buy your stuff, like your apparel?
Man,
or is that a membership thing?
No, you can actually go in there and do that right now too. That's awesome. So under the old website, it was on us. We had to reach out to vendors to be able to get our things. We came across, and I don't want to not say their name because they've been awesome for me so far. Squad Locker, it's kind of an independent thing where you can get a lot of it, a lot of gear. I think a lot of like little league coaches use Squad Locker to outfit their teams. And I thought, what a great way to be able to do fantasy football stuff. So we just changed the website a day or two ago, actually. So instead of just including FSA stuff on there and anything that might have Walter on it, we are starting to build stores for our teams that are inside the league as well. So
sweet, yeah.
If you don't want to just buy and wear Walter stuff, or you don't want to just buy and wear your own stuff, if there's a team that you want to start following from the outside. So the two teams that are on there right now are the Monarchs and the Naughty Dogs. And I'm going to spell it Nauti. Naughty Dogs. And you go out to the logo, you know why it's the Naughty Dogs. But they're on there right now. Cheryl is getting ready to open up her store. And I was just talking to my regional manager up in New England, Randy McCarty, a few minutes up before we came on. He's going to set up one for his Thunderbirds here very, very soon. So those are all on there as well. Just go to the website, click on shop at the end, and it's there.
Sweet. So when you come out to North Carolina, are you going to have Walter the mascot out there too?
You know what? I'm not kidding. It's funny you say that. I've actually looked into figuring out a way to turn him into a real life character.
Dude.
I've actually written mascot companies to see if they can churn this into something for me. No lie. I've got a place that will turn him into a stuffed animal and a bobblehead. But I don't know about a full life mascot yet.
So I need to get those names. I got another guy trying to do plush dolls off, so I need to get that information off you. And then We need a sideline maybe with Print Shop USA and see what they can pull together. I don't know if they can go through.
Follow those guys right now too, and they do a lot of good stuff. Absolutely.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, they're part of the Warrior Culture Gear. That's just their sister or brother, however they want to put it. So that's their baby that's coming up with it. So they're the ones doing all my gear. So
you a VRV hat to me in North Carolina, right?
Oh yeah, dude, we're bringing all those stuff down. I only got the black and white ones here. We got our other ones, the camo ones, and then I saw actually somebody had we've got the white ones with the black label on it, and man, those looked good. We got just colors reversed on these, man. They look really sharp, so I like them. But
I got one of these coming for you, and I don't know how you feel about flat bill hats. Yeah. I do have one of those too if you want me to bring them along. It's a snapback. I don't know how you feel about that either. That was our original.
No, I got a crooked head, brother, so that's why I got to do the snapbacks, man. So I like the flex fits, but starting out, I was like, do these ones, especially down in North Carolina, man. I got to breathe. So
it's gonna be warm.
Yes. Yeah. So, well, right on, brother. I appreciate it, man. I'm so glad we got able to meet. What you're doing is crazy. I love the depth and all the different things you're doing is really, man, it's got me hyped up. So it's awesome. So everybody, what was that?
I got to give you props too. I said it to you on the phone the other day. You should be super proud and excited about what you guys have done in the short amount of time that you've done it. And VRV is awesome, man. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, it's all people like you, man. Meeting you guys, it's awesome. So, right on. Well, everybody, go and follow Brian. You got any questions? Hit him up on his Instagram. Oh, did we throw out your Instagram stuff and all that too? I know we put out the website. What's your social media contacts and email address?
Every single one of them is different. So the best thing that you can do is if you actually go to the website, there's a links button up in the top right-hand corner. When you click on that, you can do a drop down. It'll have the Facebook, the Instagram, and the Twitter on there. But if you just search Fantasy Sports Alliance on any of those, we should come up on that too.
Copy that. Fantasy Sports Alliance. All right, guys. Right on. Well, we'll still throw up a little bit on here what I can with at least with the website. So, and obviously on social medias, follow Brian, and you'll see his posts on our stuff. So I appreciate it, man. Thanks for still serving. You're awesome. And I'll be talking to you later, brother.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right.